Lots of women had grade 3 cancer and they've lived a lot longer than Marie.
Marie Pinfield's sister is convinced she wouldn't have died from breast cancer if she'd had a different surgeon. For the last 5 years, the coroner has been investigating whether Marie and 61 other women died at the hands of jailed breast surgeon Ian Paterson. New figures obtained by ITV News show this investigation, one of the largest ever for a British coroner's court, is expected to cost more than £6.5 million. What is your reaction to that?
It's just shocking. And I mean, really, that's the tip of the iceberg.
But despite the huge costs, no individual inquests have taken place so far this year, and hearings have been cancelled.
You're constantly sort of living on the edge of when will this be over? The 17th and 18th of March were going to be my opportunity to have Marie's case heard and almost, sort of cathartically, sort of let go of some of the pain.
Over 14 years, Paterson operated on more than 11,000 patients across Birmingham and Solihull.
Mr. Paterson, have you got anything to say to your former patients?
The day after I challenged him, back in 2017, he was jailed for 20 years for carrying out unnecessary operations in private hospitals.
But he's not in prison because of Marie or any of the NHS cases. And that's why we're at the coroner's court. Because clearly there was somebody that suspected there was something more to this than just Marie dying of breast cancer.
In 2020, there was an independent inquiry which heard that Paterson had been carrying out an unapproved version of a mastectomy, leaving some breast tissue behind. Around 650 cases of women who'd had a so-called cleavage-sparing mastectomy and died of breast cancer were sent to the coroner over concerns they died prematurely. 62 inquests were opened. Hearings started in October, but in January the whole process was stopped over claims of bias and disagreements among the medical experts. While I was speaking to Shirley, we set up a call with Dan, who lost his mum to breast cancer in 2022. She had a cleavage-sparing mastectomy performed by Ian Paterson.
Bearing in mind there are some people that still haven't given Stacey all the figures, but we're up to £2.5 million so far.
How can you possibly justify spending £6 million for no reason? Like, they must think there's a reason. I guess the main issue is this is just going on and on and on and on and on. We're going to end up potentially in a situation where Ian Paterson comes out of prison and then what's to stop him just legging it?
The coroner's conclusions could lead to more charges against Ian Paterson, and although millions have been paid out in compensation, the hospitals involved could also face unprecedented legal action.
What is striking on days when court is sitting are the numbers of people in the courtroom, not patients, families or even journalists, but lawyers representing all parts of the NHS and the private sector and the people who Ian Paterson worked with who are involved in these cases. And to date, the only inquest that has concluded is one for a woman who wasn't even operated on by Mr. Paterson.
When I met Andrew back in October, he showed me his wife's handmade wedding dress, still in the wardrobe where she left it after her death in 2017. Her case is one of the few that has been heard, but Melanie Chalklin's family still don't know if her death was premature.
There's probably been public pressure to hold the inquest anyway, and from that point of view, maybe they just had to do it. But if you're going to hold an inquest, then yes, I would sincerely hope that things do come out of it.
The coroner says individual inquests will resume again next month. The conclusions are now due next spring. But the real cost is a personal one.
So there's Melanie, wedding dress.
And it raises questions for the families about a process that's supposed to be giving them answers. Stacey Foster, ITV News, Birmingham.